Haunted Alcatraz. Alcatraz, located in the San Francisco Bay, is a former prison that operated from 1934 to 1963. It has since been converted into a tourist attraction and is now part of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. During its time as a prison, it housed some of the most notorious criminals in United States history and was known for its harsh conditions and strict security measures. Despite being closed for more than 60 years, stories and rumors of hauntings at Alcatraz have persisted. This video will provide an overview of Alcatraz's history, evidence of hauntings, and theories surrounding its hauntings. The island of Alcatraz, located in San Francisco Bay, has a long history dating back to the Spanish explorers who named it La Isla de los Alcatraz, or Island of Pelicans. Its location made it an ideal spot for a prison due to its isolation and cold climate. Not only was the island difficult for prisoners to escape from due to its remote location in the middle of the bay, but also because any attempts at escape would be very risky given the strong currents and freezing waters. The isolation and harsh environment deterred potential escapees while providing sufficient protection against outside interference, making Alcatraz perfect as one of America's most secure prisons. Alcatraz, also known as the Rock, was built by the U.S. Army in 1868 and was intended to protect San Francisco Bay from potential invasion. After World War I ended, it transitioned into a federal prison with the purpose of housing some of the most notorious criminals of that time like Al Capone and Robert Stroud. Unfortunately for Alcatraz, its location on an island made it difficult and expensive to maintain, which eventually led to its closure in 1963. Since then, it has become a popular tourist attraction due to its dark history as well as rumors of paranormal activity, which makes it one of the most famous haunted places in America. Alcatraz gained notoriety for its extreme conditions and lack of rehabilitation programs. The prison had been designed to be completely escape-proof, with heavy steel bars that were reinforced by gun towers outside the fence perimeter. To add an extra layer of security, barbed wire fences were installed around the borders, along with tear gas dispensers, electric locks on all doors and metal detectors at each entranceway. This made it nearly impossible for any prisoners to attempt an escape from Alcatraz during its time as a federal prison. In addition to being geographically secure, the staff at Alcatraz were some of the most experienced officers from the federal penal system. This allowed them to handle even the most difficult and high-profile inmates with ease. The infamous prison of Alcatraz was home to some of the most notorious criminals. Some of the most famous prisoners held at Alcatraz included Robert Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz, Alvin Creepy Karpis, Floyd Hamilton, a gang member and driver for Bonnie and Clyde, and Doc Barker, the last surviving member of the Ma Barker gang. During its time as a federal prison in between 1934 and 1963, there were countless attempted escapes and many prisoners met their fate within the walls. Despite all efforts made by guards to prevent any escape attempts, 8 prisoners were murdered, 5 committed suicide, and 15 died from natural causes while they served time in Alcatraz. It is said that these deaths haunt the island even today. It's no wonder why stories about this place have captivated people for years. Alcatraz was known for its cruel and inhumane treatment of prisoners. Inmates were subjected to extreme restrictions, with only 5 basic rights: food, clothing, a private cell, 1 shower a week, and the right to doctor visits. Other than these few privileges, inmates were not allowed any other comforts or luxuries. The cells had no windows or natural light and were smaller than average prison cells at the time due to overcrowding. Inmates often suffered from lack of sleep resulting from their harsh environment as well as their limited access to showers. Despite this cruelty, Alcatraz remained an iconic symbol of justice for many years until it closed in 1963. The Alcatraz prison cells were incredibly cramped, measuring only 4 feet by 8 feet. Inside the cell was a fold-up bunk, a toilet, desk and chair, and sink. This basic setup provided inmates with everything they needed to survive in their confined environment. For those who violated the rules severely or committed more serious offenses, punishment could come in the form of being sent to the Oriental, a cell that had no amenities whatsoever, not even a toilet or sink. Instead, there was only a hole in the floor which could be flushed from outside the cell. Clearly, this harsh punishment designed to deter prisoners from breaking any further rules during their stay at Alcatraz prison. The hole was a small, dimly lit cell with no mattress or other amenities. Inmates were only given bread and water as punishment, plus 1 solid meal every 3rd day. But the worst fate of all was being locked in a dungeon, where prisoners were chained to the walls with buckets for toilets and had even less food than those kept in the hole, 2 cups of water and just 1 slice of bread per day, although they still received 1 regular meal every 3rd day. It goes without saying that such conditions were extremely miserable for inmates who found themselves stuck in these horrid places. The conditions at Alcatraz were notoriously harsh, with little to no amenities for the prisoners and extremely strict rules. This lack of freedom, coupled with the use of punishment cells such as the hole, are thought to have contributed to a mental breakdown in some inmates, such as infamous mobster Al Capone. After 3 years of incarceration at Alcatraz, Capone was known to have displayed erratic behavior, including mumbling incoherently, playing his banjo obsessively, and engaging in other strange behaviors. It is believed that this was due largely in part to the harsh environment he experienced while held captive on the island prison. The inmates of Alcatraz were desperate to escape, and some chose the ultimate way out: suicide. Joe Bowers used broken eyeglasses to slash his own throat, while Ed Woodka punctured his jugular vein with a pencil sharpener. Although there were 14 attempted escapes over the years, only 34 inmates actually tried to flee. Some of them managed to get away undetected, though it is assumed that they ultimately drowned in the strong currents of San Francisco Bay. This highlights just how difficult escaping from Alcatraz was, and why so many prisoners resorted to taking their own lives instead. Numerous people have reported seeing mysterious figures on the island, ranging from spectral figures to ghostly shadows. Some visitors have even claimed to have seen inmates that were believed to have died in Alcatraz. Visitors have also reported hearing strange noises coming from the prison cells and echoing through the halls of the island. There have also been reports of mysterious events, such as objects being moved or doors opening and closing on their own. The former federal prison on Alcatraz Island has a reputation for being haunted, with many guards who worked there between 1946 and 1963 reporting strange occurrences such as unexplained noises, smells, and apparitions. Visitors to the prison today can follow the same path as the original inmates, passing through the warden's office, the visiting room, and the cell house. Some people claim to have had eerie experiences in certain locations within the prison, such as the laundry room, which has been known to suddenly fill with the smell of smoke, or the cell known as the hole, which is said to be always colder than the surrounding areas and to give people intense feelings of discomfort when they are near it. There are also reports of strange events involving former inmates. One man claimed to have been locked in a cell with a creature with glowing eyes that later strangled him, and after his death, he was seen among the other prisoners during a head count. Another prisoner was heard playing banjo music from within his cell, even though the inmate who was known to play the banjo, Al Capone, was not in that particular cell at the time. Overall, the prison's history of violence and misery has contributed to its reputation as a place where the spirits of former inmates seem to linger. Some believe that Alcatraz may be built on an ancient Native American burial ground, which could explain some of the paranormal activity on the island. Others speculate that there could be some connection between Alcatraz and organized crime due to some of its former inmates having ties to the mafia. There are still many unsolved mysteries surrounding Alcatraz and its prisoners, which could explain some of the paranormal activity that has been reported by visitors. Despite the prison's history of violence and misery, Alcatraz remains a popular tourist destination. From sightings of apparitions to mysterious events and unsolved mysteries, there is ample evidence that suggests that Alcatraz may be haunted. The theories surrounding its hauntings range from an ancient Native American burial ground to organized crime connections and unsolved mysteries. Regardless of whether or not Alcatraz is truly haunted, it remains an enigma wrapped in mystery that continues to captivate and intrigue visitors today. The many stories and rumors surrounding its hauntings make it an interesting subject for exploration and debate.